Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, that's correct. He was right. My name is Demitris Deech. Everyone say, hello, Demitris Deech. Well done. Well rehearsed. That's good. Well done. Wales. You're from Wales, but you haven't got the accent. Is that right? That's a shame. I like the accent. It's the best British accent there is. It is. If you actually had the accent, I'd follow you home and stalk you just to listen to you speak. Yeah. So. No, I did a gig in a place called Carmarthen. Does anybody know where Carmarthen is last week? Where is it? Wales, thank you. You've nailed it, madam. Well done. Now I've got to explain what Wales is to the overseas people. Fantastic. It's kind of a country in between England and the 18th century. I'm messing about. So I was on my way to Carmarthen. It's all country lanes there. 5 hours in the car. I've got a little red Nissan Micra. It's got eyelashes on the front. It's the dog's bollocks. It really is. All the way, caravans. They freak me out, caravans all the way. I don't get on with caravans. Not because they go slow. I just find it weird. Anybody would go on holiday to pretend they're a gypsy. It's weird. I don't get it. The best accent, mate. The best British accent there is. It's commanding. It's got authority, it's got passion. I'd love to hear it everywhere. Although you would never hear it in a porn film. Just imagine the woman strips off, the man looks over, tidy. She looks back at cocky, yours is fabulous. Bread of heaven. Whatever, I don't know what that is. I'd have a loaf. Land of our fathers. No. Oh, it's cool. But you're a good audience. You're a mix as well. It's couples, it's men and women. And I tell you what, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of women, and I'll tell you why. Because you look out for one another. You protect each other. You've got each other's backs. Us blokes, we don't do that, do we? We stitch each other up. We play practical jokes on one another. We give each other nicknames. There's got to be a bloke in here with a dodgy nickname. Princess Thrush or something like that. I don't know. You see in a pub, even in the playground at school, in the pub, someone will come in and go, hey, it's Big Phil, Big Dave, Big Bob. Girls don't do that. They don't go, meet my friend, Fat Jackie. Oh, yeah, I'm Fat Jackie. Can I have a Pringle? Oh, that's good. But yeah, it says, and we play practical jokes on one another. When I was at university, when I was 20, I lived with 4 other guys in a shared house. 20 years old. It was 18 months ago. And we used to play practical jokes on one another. You may remember the breath freshener, Tic Tacs. I know they have them all around the world. And this new flavour came out for people with bad breath. Extra strong mint. And they were bright blue and slightly bigger. My friend pointed out, because they were bright blue and slightly bigger, they looked very similar to Viagra tablets. And one of our housemates needed Viagra. So we thought it'd be hilarious if we replaced his stash of Viagra with a Tic Tacs. That's the funniest thing you could do. He would go out on a date with his girlfriend, come back into the house with a brazen, cocky look on his face, go upstairs to what he thought was his secret stash of Viagra. He thought in about 15 minutes' time he was going to end up with a penis with the rigidity of a handle on a frying pan from John Lewis. We're downstairs sniggering away because we knew he may be trying to play snooker with the length of rope. Jeez. And we thought about that, and we thought, actually, what would be even better? You see, we had another housemate who liked Tic Tacs. He had an erection for 18 months. Couldn't get rid of the thing. He was walking around with what I'd only describe as an arrogant and defiant hard-on. Knocking things over, upsetting the guy you couldn't get one for love or money. He tried both. This thing ruined his life. He lost his job as a lifeguard. And you can imagine having something like that. No girl was interested in him. Well, that was a waste. He couldn't get a date. His breath stunk. But I'm very lucky. I'm in a relationship. I got married a year ago. Which was nice. And we want to have children. That's the thing. We want to have children. But there's an issue. There's an age issue. Because I'm actually 41. And with her being just 17, I'm joking. I added a few years on. So, I'm joking. It's a comedy night, isn't it? A comedy club, eh? Comedy club. But no. No, we're both in our 40s. We're both in our 40s, so it's difficult. We have to have assistants. We have to go to the doctors. We could get fertility advice off a panda. But we didn't. We went to her doctors. He was a kid, a young kid. He was younger than you. Young kid. He was like, he was being thrown out of One Direction or something like that. He giggled every time he said Willie. He sat us down. The first thing he asks, how often do you have sex? Simultaneously, I said 3 times a week. She said once every other month. We were both exaggerating, to be fair. We schedule it in first Sunday of every month. It's rotated in 9 o'clock in the morning. She's very regimented, very sort of scripted about things like that, very anal about, well, she's not anal. He then, this kid, starts telling me about how to have sex. Now, I thought I knew. You have sex education, what, you were about 11 years old at school? That's too early. You don't remember these things. You don't pay attention in biology. It makes no sense to you. I knew, yes, I knew, that there was a certain time within a month that you had to have sex, to have a baby. But I didn't realise it was so precise. Men, we think we know. We don't. It's a 12-hour window when the woman starts oscillating. Or something, I don't know. And that's it. 12 hours! 12 hours! It's because you've got to wait for that time. Wait for that time, have sex. I said, oh, what are the signs during that time? She goes, oh, her mood might change. And it could be any time. It could be 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. Got to have sex then. Try not to wake her up. Could be in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My friends, they were trying for a baby. He had a phone call. From his wife. She said, look, I'm fertilising at the moment. She knew his boss wasn't at work. She said, I'm going to go and I'm going to see you at work. We're going to have sex. She turned up. He was shocked. To be fair, the people on the bus were stunned. They didn't know what to do. So we both had to do tests. He said, you both got to do tests. I don't know what her test was. Make sure she didn't have a paper jam or something like that. I don't know. I had to do a sperm test. He gave me a pot. A little pot. At first glance, it seems too small, but when he says you've got to fill it up, you realise it isn't. He gives you this pot and a leaflet. He gives me a leaflet. We're men! We get an instruction book from IKEA, we burn it, we throw it away, I don't want an instruction book. He says, what you've got to do, you've got to take it to the hospital, but you've got to produce this at home 1 hour before your scheduled time of delivery, which is in a week's time, and you've got to keep it warm. Best thing, put it under your armpit. In the pot, of course. I wake up a week later, she goes off to work. I'm like, I've never timed myself. I hadn't thought about this. I hadn't read the leaflet, had I? About 90 minutes to go, I put the TV on. It's Good Morning Britain. It's Susanna Reid. I thought, I'm in luck. I can save time. Then I suddenly realised there's a gravitational issue here, because things point up and this pot is down. They don't give you a funnel. They don't give you a load of other pots to practice in. Nowhere did it say phone your friends because they can come round. One person can hold you up in the air with a pot in your mouth and you can get it in like that. How do I fill it up? I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. Time's ticking on. Just 65 minutes to go. I get up in a presser position with my feet on the headboard. I managed to get what I need into the pot. There was some spillage. I thought we'll ignore that. I put the lid on. I run. Now, the thing is, I could have parked at the hospital. The parking charges are huge, so I thought I'd get the bus. There is no price you can put on having a little bundle of joy. But it turns out there is, and it's £3.60 per hour. I get to the bus stop, I get on the bus, I sit down, this thing is under my armpit, I'm keeping it warm, I've got my puffer jacket on, I look around, it's the school bus, I feel awkward. The bus turns up at the hospital, I jump down, I hadn't done any research, I don't know where I'm going, I'm running around the hospital, I'm looking at corridors, I'm asking for where directions are, where different things are. I eventually see a queue of men, clearly they've been in the same situation as me, 5 days of abstinence, then an ejaculation, they all look sleepy. I joined the back of the queue. I said, is this the queue for the semen sample? The guy was a bit of a joker. He turned around. I don't need that. I'm stressed. I don't need that. Time's running out. I'm trying to cut in line. I get to the front. I give the woman who opens up the hatch my pot. She says she takes it. She goes, oh, is this it? It's like, no. The rest of it's in a carrier bag in the car. I then get the phone call from my doctor. I prefer my doctor. He has grey hair and he wears a tie. I trust him to get the results. The results were fine. I have, and I quote, a legendary amount of semen. When I say I quote, it's my quote. So, he says, well, all I want you to do now is just one other medical test. I want you to go behind the curtain, strip from the waist down. So I go behind the curtain, I take my pants and trousers down. I've never been naked in front of another man before who's about to touch me. I get nervous. I look down, and because of the nerves, my penis goes to the smallest possible size it can go. Have you ever tried to pull it bigger? Trying to prise it from its moorings. It just looked like spaghetti. It was not good. He starts to check, he starts to feel. Now, in situations like that, where do you look? Do I look him in the eye? Do I look out the window? Do I look in his desk where I had a picture of his wife and she was pretty fit? Now, your body does strange things when that happens. And eventually he looks up at me and says, it's okay, Demitris. It's perfectly normal to get an erection during this procedure. And I looked down and said, but I haven't got an erection. He said, no, but I have. I'm joking. That was at the post office. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Demitris Deech. I've really enjoyed telling you that story. Dan, we've had a laugh. I'm going to give you a tic-tac at the end of the night. Thank you very much. Good night.